My grandmother, she was a domestic worker. She cooked and cleaned in the homes of white folks in the segregated South. And I think it's so important to note that even though she didn't read or write, she was smart and she was savvy and she was an incredible, remarkable woman. So my mother is constantly talking about my grandmother.
Maria's mother was Winnie McGuire Jones.
So Grandma Winnie is my great-grandmother and your grandmother.
Yes, her husband was A.C. Jones.
And they were born where?
In Dallas County, Alabama. From what I understand, Granny Winnie was a beautiful woman, just like you.
Just like you. There's a story that we tell about my great-grandmother, Winnie McGuire, that she was full-blood Cherokee Indian, but we're not sure because historically, we know that a lot of Black folks were told that they were Native American, but they were really white, and so we're not really sure. For so many Black Americans who were brought here as slaves, we don't know exactly where we're from. You know, we assume we're from Africa, we don't know exactly what part of Africa, and that could be really amazing to find out. So I took a DNA test. We're waiting for the results. I'm really curious to find out what my genetic background is.
So that's some of our history. You're going to go and find out some more about us?
We're gonna find out what we can find out.
And let me know, because I'm interested in finding out as much as possible.
I'm just gonna find out and not tell you, girl. Of course I'm gonna tell you.
Okay, good.
Alrighty, girl, I gotta go.
All right. Oh, it's so good seeing you.
I love you.
Love you too, baby. You take care.
You too. Actually didn't know my grandmother helped register people to vote. I connect to that. I connect like deeply to that desire to empower my people. I think what it is that it just makes me make more sense. That this is who I've become and this is how I'm living my life. Because this is where I come from. So I'm in Montgomery, the capital of Alabama, to meet with a genealogist. My ancestry DNA results are in, and I'm so excited to find out about the Cherokee side of my family tree, and particularly about my great-grandmother, Winnie McGuire, and her side of the family line. Hello. Yay. So, I heard you have DNA results for me.
Are you excited?
I am. I'm nervous too. I don't know why I'm nervous, but okay.
All right, so we're gonna go to Ancestry. We're gonna go over to the DNA tab. And then we wanna go right here to where it says Discover Your DNA Story. What we found in your DNA.
God. Okay, there's lots of Western Africa. Oh my goodness, 22%.
Yep.
Goodness gracious, and 20% Nigerian. It's funny because people are like, you look like you're Nigerian. And I'm like, I don't know. So they were right.
So now you know.
20%
Right.
Nigerian, African Southeastern Bantu, Mali, and then 9% Senegalese, Scandinavia, 3%.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that.
And then these are the smaller percentages, but still percentages that are showing in your DNA. So you've got about 93% African.
I'm very, very Black.
You are.
No Native American.
There's no Native
So
American.
that is a family myth.
Right.
So what of Winnie McGuire? What of my great-grandmother? And
Right.
so
Yeah, so there's a couple of possibilities. If she was strongly Native American, so half or a quarter, we would expect to see that somewhere in your ethnicity breakdown. It's possible that the Native American was far enough back on our line that by the time we've gotten to you, you're just not inheriting those markers. So we're just not seeing it. Or it's also possible that it just was the family story that's really common. For other people, it was also a way of feeling more strongly connected to America, you know, to feel like you were part of the people who were here before.
interesting. I
Right.
never knew that.
Yeah.
So what else can you tell me?
Well, I have a tree based on some research I was doing on your family.
My mother, Gloria Cox, her mother, my grandmother, Emma Jane Jones, my great-grandmother, Winnie McGuire, Her father, George Washington McGuire, and her mother is Georgiana Banks. Georgiana's parents are Bolin Banks Matthews, born about 1825, and Lucy Ross, born about 1833. So they were my great-great-great-grandparents who were born into slavery on this side of the family, presumably. Wow. So what can I find out about Bolin and what of these two last names, Bolin Banks Matthews?
We were able to get him back for a certain amount of time with the surname Banks, but then before, as we tried to go further back, we couldn't find him. So I have a record for you to look at for him. Up here, it'll tell you the place.
1870 census in the county of Dallas, in the state of Alabama. This is a census from 1870.
It is.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Just that part of it is amazing. So I see a Bolin Matthews here at the very top. 45 years old, male, black, Lucy, his wife.
Right.
And then the daughter, Georgiana. Georgiana Banks is my great-great-grandmother. Who's that?
So this is Willis
Willis.
Matthews, and
Was that Cass?
these would also be sons of Bolin.
Bolin Banks Matthews. So we initially looked for him as Banks and then
Right.
could no longer find him as Banks. And then he was then listed as Matthews. With the emancipation, I think a lot of people changed their names. Maybe it was his slave owner's name.
Right, quite possibly. As they came out of slavery, they didn't necessarily have surnames. So the surname of their slave owner would be given to them.
So Banks was how he identified later, and Matthews was how he first identified. What else can we infer about the census record?
So this column shows the value of real estate.
So he owned real estate?
He did.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, in 1870.
In 1870, he owned real estate in Dallas County, Alabama.
Right.
That's a really big deal.
It is.
Historically, this is major.
So unique. Yeah. If you look at the other land-owning families, if you notice race over
White,
here.
white, white,
Right.
white.
Yep. So he was the only African American on the page who owned land.
They must have been mad at him. How did this black man have this property?